Hi there. This is Ms. Ludala. I had to leave early today, so I'm just doing a very quick book talk. So I'm pretty excited about this, but these are the four most heavily circulated books this year at New Canaan High School Library. So I'm going to share a handful of them with you. All American Boys is told in two voices. There are two different boys at the same high school. One is African American, one is white. The African American student, who is a devoted graphic novelist and cartoonist, is in the corner store in his neighborhood, and he's trying to help a woman out, and his behavior is misinterpreted by the police, and he ends up severely injured by the police. The white kid happens to observe this incident, and the rest of the book is sort of told in these two voices, sharing their thought processes as they come to terms with what happened and how much to say out loud. And particularly for the white kid, he really just doesn't know how to come forward and speak out about what he saw. So it's a very interesting story. It's filled with nuance and complexity. My guess is you've seen the previews to the movie For the Hate You Give. It's a very powerful story. And Angie Thomas was 27 when she wrote it. She was inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement. And she writes a story of a girl who goes to a school very much like New Canaan High School. She is African American, and she also lives in her neighborhood, which is pretty rough. And she hangs out on weekends sometimes with her friends. And sometimes she hangs out with her other friends from the school. But on this one incident, one weekend, she goes to a neighborhood party, which she doesn't usually do. And an old neighborhood friend that she kind of grew up with gives her a ride home after an incident happens at the party. They're pulled over by the police, and he is shot. The rest of the book is about her journey with trying to figure out when to speak out. And it's very hard for her to find her voice because she knows that her relationships in all places will be changed forever. And there are some serious dramatic consequences that could occur as a result of her speaking out. By the way, the movie is amazing. I dragged my husband to it. He didn't want to go, and he was really blown away. And that's a pretty good barometer. Dear Martin is sort of the internal monologue in many respects of a male African-American character who goes to a high school that looks a lot like New Canaan High School. And he is engaging with Martin Luther King in sort of these conversations. He's writing to him about his experiences and his feelings about his interactions with classmates. This is entire book occurs during the 30-second elevator ride. And the main character is talking about his brother who was shot in his neighborhood and how he was shot and what the emotional reverberation of that is. The book is written in verse. And so you can see this is a typical page. It's an extremely fast read, and it's also an emotionally searing book. It's a very powerful book about grief.